let's get into the y00ts. Okay, this is on OpenSea. This is the collection stats. It's kind of interesting because on OpenSea you can get the collection stats for both Solana and ETH. And here I'm on the 7-day volume, top volume, and I mean y00ts is now on the top of the 7-day overall volume. Even just minted last night around, I think it was like I want to say it was around 9 p.m. Eastern, I think, when they minted. But so far 161,000 Solana in volume. Let's see, what's that come out to right now? About 5 million in volume. I know
crazy.
That's a trading volume. The mint itself is going to net, I think, about 15 mil for the team overall once they mint out. They have not minted out yet. Let's see, let me go check. I just checked here. There's about 4,000 left to mint last time I checked. So they minted a little over, I think, 11,000 of them. And you know, there is when I go over here and I check how many wallets have dust, there is enough wallets with enough dust at this point to finish minting that out. So, you know, I'm sure it will mint out. It would kind of, if you are whitelisted for this, it would be really stupid not to mint it, because you can right now, you could just go over on Magic Eden and you could flip it for almost, I mean, over 3x flip at this point. So
I know, but most of the people I've talked to that minted it, they just flipped it right away.
Oh, there's no reason not to. Really, I mean, it's a great time to just take profits on this. You know, you're at 143 ETH. What is that? Sol. I meant, sorry, everybody. 143 Sol. You know, that comes out to a little over $4,500. So, I mean, you're minting this for about 1,000, a little less than that. And you can, I mean, you essentially 4x your money. So, yes, I would definitely take profits. At this point, nothing is revealed. You know, it's just these unrevealed, what they call tubes. But they're not tube looking. They're more like orbs, is what I would call them. But, you know, everybody has, you know, their own perspective, I guess, on what a tube is. There was, of course, on Friday, Mr. Take Profits was going quite ham about the delays. And so they delayed. It was supposed to mint Friday. Then they delayed to Sunday. And then on Sunday, it was like 15 minutes before they were supposed to mint. They then delayed again for another 24 hours. And I saw there were people starting to get upset for sure. Mostly all the hardcore maxis were still just like, you know, there were people in spaces that were like, I'm more bullish now, you know, of course. So, but there was a guy who got up on there and was expressing concerns in a more kind of, shall I say, refrained and polite way that Mr. Take Profits had expressed too. And his thing was, he was like, you know, if at a big company, if you had a product that was very, you know, high, that people were anticipating, like let's say a AAA video game, and you didn't, you know, hit the deadline, it would be costing the company lots of revenue, and you'd probably be losing your job. That's what he was saying. You know, he's like, if I did that in my work, I'd lose my job. And so he just was saying, you know, we need to, this, you know, this can't be the norm, is what he was saying. And, you know, for a big company essentially like this, and did you know, I'm still learning things about this company. And, you know, Frank is only one of the like 4 co-founders. So there's actually a co-founder. He's not the founder. So he's kind of the face, right? Right. What I think of as his role there. But so lots of delays. And then on Monday, when they were supposed to then mint, it was delayed yet again. And that's when I really started to see people cracking at the seams on spaces yesterday afternoon. People just like really starting to get pissed off. But, you know, all of them pretty much saying, we're still all going to mint it though. So, you know, it's one of those projects where they were able to get away with doing this over and over. Of course,
it's so weird. Yeah, man, it's like you could just screw up over.
It's because you know, and this is why it's different than like a video game, because or other products, because you can't then flip your video game for 4x profit. So it's
That
like,
is true.
yes, it's like, yeah, there's delays and this and that.
Yeah,
And
like, I don't give
but
a
we're all
shit
going to
how many
mint
times
because
you
we
fuck
all
up.
know we're
Yeah.
going to print. So
You just give, yeah, exactly.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it's, of course, but
Like, we know there's going to be someone there for exit liquidity. So yeah.
exactly. Um,
Yeah.
Also, then 30 minutes after the mint started, Dust Labs did an announcement. They raised $7 million in a seed round. So they've raised a bunch of money from like FTX and Metaplex and a bunch of other investors. So they have raised a $7 million seed round to create, I think it's going to be a software suite for project creators, is what I can tell so far, is kind of what they're working on over there. And I'm assuming it will accept Dust as one of the as that will be the key token involved with all of that. So and I saw some interesting commentary, because it is interesting that here's like the founder of the Plague. He said so far it looks like a success. Even if you bought the top for Dust, you're over a 3x profit right now. Congrats to those on the list. Now a bunch of ETH holders are holding Sol NFTs, which is true. You got a bunch of ETH influential people in the ETH space who were all whitelisted for this, who now are in the Sol ecosystem. So he says, so like it or not, it bridged the gap for many. Now, who will bring Sol to ETH? Which I think is an interesting question as well. Like, what big project will bring the Solana people over to the Ethereum ecosystem too? So, mixing it up and getting the exit liquidity meshed around everywhere.
Wouldn't you think that most of the Soul people started on ETH or something?
You would think that, but actually, I've heard lots of them in spaces talk about how they
never
they
touched
went
ETH.
to Sol, yeah, because it was too expensive.
That's
It was too
true. That's
expensive.
true. Solana was
That
for the
was, yeah,
poors.
exactly. So, there's lots of normal people with just normal jobs on Solana. A lot of people, those people are just normal people. So,
And the
it's,
people who are dealing with ETH are
well,
obviously not normal. Yeah.
yeah, well, like, here's Wob, founder of Sappy Seals, who said, people on the timeline fighting one day delay that stayed silent when $150 million of consumer funds were evaporated by Yuga. During the other side mint, I mean, $150 million just evaporated in gas.
Yeah, I
So
remember, dude. We talked about that.
yeah,
Was like absolutely such a
never
giant
forget, right?
waste,
430.
man. Never forget 430. Yeah.
So we at least are consistent in fudding everyone. So I will say that we were one of the people
We're
that did
pretty
FUD this.
consistent in fudders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
did
are
FUD
pretty
it.
consistent in fudding. Yeah.
Yeah, we
So.
do. So, but I thought those were some interesting perspectives from some ETH founders, just to see. I don't think the conversation of ETH versus Solana is over at all. This is just making it more interesting. All of this, the y00ts and the DeGods and and I think the competition is good for the ecosystem, to have kind of the two chains kind of competing in a way for exit liquidity, and mixing stuff up, and getting the just. I don't know, it's getting more interesting. That's for sure. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So you got the reveal, or when you'll be able to burn your YouTube for a y00ts will be in, I mean, it was originally going to be Friday, but I'm assuming it probably is pushed back a little bit. I don't know. We'll see, because it was originally going to be 5 days from the mint, but now the mint was pushed back, so maybe it'll be Saturday. We'll see. And I think that's when things will get actually more interesting with this project, because right now you're essentially in the unrevealed phase, right? And right now people are just trading, right? And they're just trading and taking profit, and you're not really going to see any significant price action, I don't think, until you get the reveal and you actually see what these things look like, and you get traits and people know if they have rare ones. So I think that's when really this is going to heat up again. And for now, even if somebody wanted, let's say you didn't get whitelisted and you want a y00ts because you think long-term y00ts are going to do something, right? I would probably say you wait till maybe on Wednesday or something like that. Probably going to be like, things will shake out over the next couple days, and there will probably be a lull at some point here, before the reveal, and then at post reveal too. Of course, people will start dumping non-rares on the floor. We know how that goes. So, Utes, the Utes saga is still, it's of course. But I'm not upset because we can now milk Utes for another week of content and get people who are searching Utes on YouTube,
Search us on YouTube.
searching us on YouTube can see our stuff, which always makes me happy. Here's dust price. It was interesting to see what happened to the price of dust too. You had you had like so if you look here on the 3rd, when they announced the first delay, not really a whole lot happened, right? It was pretty calm. I think it's when you start to get to the 5th, and there was this little spike down here, which I think was, oh yeah, I remember this. This was when the applications for whitelist were revealed, when it was revealed if you were finally, everybody's applications were processed. And so a bunch of people who didn't get whitelisted were offloading in this little zone here, but it was quickly pretty much snapped up, I think, probably by people who were whitelisted and were waiting maybe to get dust, hoping for a better entry. So then it kind of hovered back up here. And then of course, as soon as mint happens, we are the price is coming down, and that's pretty much exactly what we expected on this show, is that dust would come down after the launch. I think what they tried to do, they timed the announcement of the Dust Labs seed round right after they announced the mint, and I think that was to kind of save the price of dust, right, from completely
try to get people
down.
To go in for hype,
and just trying to get people to hold and all that. And also, I will just show, this is my Utes application. Of course, I did not pass. That was a very nice way of saying I was rejected. But they've got this raffle going as well. So what you can do is you can win. There's 100 Utes that will be raffled off. One dust equals one raffle ticket, and you can a max of 375 tickets per person. Any dust you send will not be. Any additional dust you send will not be counted and not returned. Raffle will only be accessible to applicants that did not get you listed. Please do not purchase any additional dust for this raffle. Be responsible. So anyway, that's just kind of also an interesting little scheme going on, is you've got the little raffle for the losers, essentially a consolation prize for the losers. And Dickensis says they should have just done this raffle from the start. Well, and I will say, the whitelist application thing is kind of genius, right? Because they are curating who is going to be allowed to buy these things, so they can have influential people in there. They can have people that they think are, creators that are sticking around. So, it's like if you just raffled it off to random wallets, you just get the random assortment of people who are coming in. And I think that I don't know. It's interesting. This has all been a very weird, interesting process to watch unfold. So Dickensis says, run the gambling site with the
quite the shit show.
You know what's funny? That changed too. Remember how they were going to lock them up till they minted out? And my speculation was that they changed it to an hour on like Sunday. And I think that may have been because there wasn't enough wallets at the time with dust. There was only like 10,000 wallets with dust.
I was going to ask you, do you think maybe the delays was just because there wasn't the wallets?
I had that theory too.
Needed to mint
I thought about that. Possibly. I mean, to allow people more time to accumulate dust, maybe. Or at a lower price, maybe. I don't know. These are just, obviously unfounded conspiracies.
Because I thought, because it's like, I thought that was really interesting how it's like, oh, they don't have enough, like, right? You were even saying, like, I remember you sent me, I think it was on Sunday, they're like, they don't have enough wallets to mint out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just thought it was very convenient for them to just constantly be delaying the mint,
Well, and I think that's why they also changed the freeze period, because if they change it from until we mint out to an hour, what that does is it creates a new psychological game for people who are on the whitelist, right? if you see after an hour when they start hitting secondary that, oh, people are making 3-4x profit, then it
Right.
puts pressure on you to then mint. Why wouldn't you mint then? So then you're going to go buy
Right.
dust and you're going to go mint. And I
You're
think
gonna go
that's
mint it,
why now today
flip
you
it.
see there's still enough wallets to mint the rest of these with dust, because I think people were just buying dust as they saw and got FOMO'd in. They essentially FOMO'd in.
Yep.
And I think that was a
Yep.
smart change, last minute change. But because I think that until mint out, they'd still be frozen.
Everything was
And
last
and
minute
nobody would
changes.
know. Nobody would know what the potential
Right.
profit is if it was still frozen. So I think they'd have less minted at this point.
That's true.
That was the
Yeah.
case.
I personally, my whole theory is that they just delayed it so that they could get the wallets to mint out. Like I
I like
just
your theory. I like how you can the FUD. This is like FUD episode 3. FUD
the
continued.
Utes FUD
Utes FUD episode 4.
continued. Yeah.
Yeah. So and we got 4,470 of them still left to mint. So I'm sure those will mint out though.
It's not gonna mint out.
That would be insane.
That's what
Totally insane.
that's what this epi is gonna be called.
It
Is
would
just gonna
just
be
be
like
insane to not mint out with the profit
this
that you could make.
asshat Mr. Take Profit says they're not gonna mint out.
click our video, please. Click our video. Okay, well, I think
It'll
that
be
does
all
it
right.
for
They'll
us.
do good. I'm sure they'll be just fine.
Well, it'll definitely. I mean, it'll mint out because you're an idiot if you don't mint
Yes.
this and take your profit. I mean, come on, you're a total idiot if you don't mint this. If you're on the whitelist, it's just obvious. Unless you just like don't have the funds, like you're trying to borrow it from your mom. You're like, Mom, no, look, I know it sounds weird, but you give me the $1,000 and I'll, because they're all 13-year-olds over there
Well,
anyway.
I don't.
So
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's. You have to also remember it's Solana, so they don't really like money over there. So I
yeah.
don't know.
That's
I don't
well.
know if
That's
they.
why they had to get all the ETH liquidity, right? That's what that whitelist was about. The youth list was about getting ETH influencers over. You got to get that
Yeah.
liquidity because all the 13-year-olds on Solana don't have the money to do it themselves. So you've got to get
That.
some of the ETH adults over there to fund this. So yes, but you know what though? Nobody's complaining about the gas, and that's the one thing I have to still say is Solana.
Yeah, it's true.
It was a hyped mint. You got 15,000 of these, and nobody lost a bunch of money to gas. Yes, $15 million is going to this team, but yeah, that's still a pennies compared to the 150 million that just went to the miners on during the other side. So. Yeah. Oh, wild stuff, man. Just another day of crypto chaos and fun.
Thank you for watching GMTV.